Ciao, lovelies. I'm using my phone for my notes today. Gotta love that. How is everyone doing? It is Friday, end of the week for most. That's always good news. If you have any wins for the week, drop them below. We definitely want to know what's happened this week and what you've been able to do for yourself or your relationships. Also, feel free to drop what you have done for your relationships to make them better. It's one of my favorite questions. When someone says, I don't know what to do, well, what have you done? I like that one because then I get looked at like, uh-oh. Well, I've done 3 things out of 10,000 and I think it's everything. So I love questions. I love them. Most of the time there's a very simple answer and it just takes hearing it, typically. I'm going to give people a second to join. Ciao. Let me know if you are hashtag Team Live or hashtag Team Replay. Bum, bum, bum. It's going to be a good weekend. I'm going to get some classes finished up. Thank goodness. I'll have my master's here soon as a sexpert, loveologist. There's a whole bunch of fun little titles that come with it. It was a lot of school, but it was so worth it. So worth it. I'm sitting out in the woods. I was going to do this on the porch, but I'm sitting out in the woods by the creek behind the house, and the bugs are getting me already. It's been really nice out, so, everyone's out. Everybody's out. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I will occasionally stop in and, check in the messages, the comments, and see if anyone's asked anything. So if you have a question that you haven't asked yet about this project, please feel free to ask me. I am an open book, and as this is new, I do expect several questions. I'm okay with it. Well, one of the questions I've gotten so far is, can I do this program alone, or do I have to have a partner? And the answer to that is, you can go through this alone. This can absolutely be something for you only. If you're single, it's perfect. You don't have to stress about it. But if you're in a relationship and you want to just take a good little look at yourself, your partner doesn't have to be involved. They will benefit from what you're doing because some of the exercises you may eventually want to include them in, and that's only going to help. So it is okay to do it alone. Doing it with a partner it's a different kind of intensity because you're not only dealing with things that come up for you, but you're learning how to hold space for your partner as well. Or partners, as it is in some cases. So just know it can be done both ways. A lot of the tantric or sacred sexuality exercises I have, a lot of the magic tools, the breathing exercises, the meditations, the mindset stuff, the digging deep and like looking at your patterns and whys and all that good stuff is going to give you probably a little more respect for your partner, especially if there's been a couple issues and you guys aren't sure what it is. It's probably not the two of you, it's stuff you've brought in from before, and no, that's normal. That's why I'm doing this for solos or partners, because sometimes it is you. Sometimes you are the one that needs to let go of things, and sometimes you are the one that needs help. That's all right. That's all right. I did too. That's why I'm here. I took the sexual traumas that I went through from different types of abuse and stuff in my life, and I went from criminal psychology to sex ed. And that was something that was important to me because I wanted people to know they're not alone in this. That so many of us look at our body weird. So many of us have these thoughts. It is completely normal. The only difference between those people like us that thought this way, or can still do, is what we do with it. It's how we move forward from it. It's how we get away from it. It's how we make new habits and patterns. And it's how we go further. Sometimes it is your partner, and doing it with them is never going to be a bad thing, because if you feel like you're solid and you may have a couple things to deal with, jump in with both feet and hold space for them while they go through it. Because that is one of the best things you can do for your partner, is to hold space while they grow, while they're in the dark space, while they're in that phase where nothing matters and nobody cares. You sitting there saying, I'm here, I see you, I love you, is very powerful. So yes, to answer that question, this is for solos or for partners. That one's up to you. Okay, number 2. How much time will this take? So my videos will, depending upon questions on Fridays that I get, and depending upon what I've put together for each day, will run anywhere, I'm going to guess, from 20 minutes up. I think I just swallowed a bug. Excuse me. That's fun. So what I will do is I will go through and do live coaching and talk to you about it, and be able to pull you back and forth. Why I'm doing it on Zoom and broadcasting it to the Facebook group is because on Zoom, if you know how to use that, you can get on and I can bring you on the call and talk to you one-on-one and answer your questions. Or if you can't figure out how to do this exercise, or if it's not working for you, we can kind of see maybe what you're doing to make it better. But that way, the Zoom is to make it interactive. You guys can leave me messages below, but that really doesn't, it's not as fun for me, because this way I have you on video and I can actually talk to you. It's a favorite. It was suggested and I love the idea, and I've used it a few times, and I think that it is the way to go. It will still be live on Facebook, because Zoom will do that, which is fun, and then the replay will stay on Facebook, and I'll just put it in the guide. So every week we're going to start with Mondays and Fridays, and Mondays is going to be on your head. So again, anywhere from 20 minutes and up. That will depend on the week and what we're going to go over, and if anyone has questions or feedback, and how much engagement we have that week. It could go longer. Fridays, again, with the questions, if I don't get a whole bunch, then I may come on and say hi and have a good weekend, and we're done. If everyone's doing good that week and everyone's rocking it and they don't need me, I'm okay with this. That means we've done something right. So it takes probably an hour, maybe hour and a half as far as videos are concerned for the next few weeks. And then the homework that you will be doing, it can be anywhere from what you're absolutely minimal able to give it, which could be 5 minutes every few days, 10 minutes a week maybe. But that will depend on you. These exercises work. They are time-tested, Mother Nature approved, and they have worked for centuries. There's so many different spiritual practices that I'm using, but I don't call them by their names, because breath work is breath work is breath work. And if you're super interested in where I get some of these exercises, feel free to ask me. I will tell you. I will tell you if it's shamanic. I will tell you if it's yoga. I will tell you if it's tantric. I will tell you if it's from just my schooling in sex ed. There's so many exercises. So what we need to do is, for you, find out which ones work and how long you can do them. Because the first time you do some of these, you're not going to be able to sit down and do it for more than a few minutes. That's all right. That's fine. Everyone starts somewhere. As you progress, you will be able to do it longer. And it may become you only do the exercise for a few minutes because that's what you get the most out of, and you don't need to sit there for half an hour. So time is going to be up to you. If you only have a little bit, if you only have the car ride in the morning, then that is something that is going to be or can be utilized as some time. I like to turn on music and just kind of let my mind wander, but I've also done breathing exercises and other things just while in the car to bring me down, to take me from work mode to mom mode, or work mode to home mode, or play mode to home mode, or home mode to work mode. So time is going to be up to you. Some will take longer than others, and some you will want to sit down and maybe answer one question at a time. I'm going to ask you to dig deep. I'm going to ask you questions you're not going to like me for, and I'm fine with this because you'll come around. But the first answer, ask why. I'm big on why, because your first answer is never going to be the actual answer. It's going to be what you say. Ask yourself why 5 times. Why do I get upset when this happens to me? Well, because it made me angry. Well, why did it make me angry? Okay, well, it made me angry because something didn't happen on my schedule. All right, great. Why am I so angry that something didn't happen on my schedule? Like, why do I feel like this is something that I can control? Why do I think that everybody else is responsible for my timeline? There are things that will come out every time you ask yourself a question and you ask yourself why you're answering that way. And the more you dig, 5 whys is usually what it takes. That'll be your answer. And then that's going to be what you need to think about. Because once you dig, you find it. And then when you find it, you acknowledge it. And now that that's been done, you can't go back. So the goal is, you take the time that you need to do these exercises. If there's no set time, this is for you. So if it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. If it's 2, it's 2. If it's an hour, fantastic. It may not need to be that long. But each exercise will be different, and probably no more than 10-15 minutes total. First time out. And like I said, if you need to slowly answer questions because you need to sit down with yourself and actually consider these things, please do. Homework is not going to be something that you have to turn in every week, or you're scolded, or there's no points taken away. These exercises are for you to dig deep, for you to see clearly so you can do the work that needs to be done. That's it. That's the only stress you have, is to get you better, to get you feeling better, thinking better, acting better, all the fun stuff. But it's going to take looking in, and it's going to take you saying, all right, I'm ready. There's no fear. Not a small step, but one you will not regret taking. Okay, let's go to the next one. What do we got? What is the difference between intimacy and sex? Well, let's just say you can have intimacy without sex, and you can have sex without intimacy. The two are not the same, never. You can combine them, but they're very, very different. Sex is considered intercourse. Sex is considered genital play. Sex can be considered a type of penetration, if you will. Intimacy is the connection that you have with your partner. Oh, I got bit by a bug. Intimacy is the connection that you build with your partner. How comfortable are you being naked with your partner? Have you ever laid down and let your partner look at you inch by inch, touch you all over, look at your body in bright lights, and just let them? Have you ever let them explore? Why not? Why wouldn't you? Intimacy is something where you're vulnerable to somebody else, and it doesn't have to involve sex. It can involve just literally letting them explore you, and the atmosphere between you letting them do this and your vulnerability and them being allowed to explore and make themselves happy while at the same time making you feel good is amazing. Let them adore you. Intimacy is those fun little notes that you write each other. Intimacy is the look that you guys share across a room. Intimacy with yourself is respecting your body. It is respecting your ups and downs. It is respecting your emotions. It is respecting your human form and your skin suit. How do you feel about your genitals? Do you even look at them? How your relationship with yourself is as intimate as you will ever be with anyone. And that is going to involve being vulnerable with yourself and or your partner. So, the difference between intimacy and sex is profound. It's the connection. You can wham bam thank you ma'am and be done and we're out with a quickie, and that's fine. I'm not opposed. But if you're looking for long term, the connection is where it's at. It's the feeling you have just being around each other without anything else involved. It can be simply looking at each other and actually seeing that person. Seeing them. Seeing what they've done to themselves. Seeing what is behind the mask that they put on every day. Do you really want to see this person? Is this person really someone that you want to look into further? Becoming intimate with someone is scary because it opens you up, but remember, they're also doing it as well. And if you're doing this alone, then opening up to yourself may be just as hard. It was for me. I mean, I think I'm pretty cool, but at the same time, I have things I'm not so fond of. I have a conniving side. I'm not a real big fan of it. So, I always say I use my crazy for good, not evil. I like to play jokes on people. I like to play games. I like to do silly things that I know I can do because I'm sneaky and I can get around them to do it. So instead of using my conniving to be like a complete jackface person, I do it to entertain people and make them laugh. It's all a matter of perception. I changed it. Okay, I figured that out. I've lied. I cheated. I have stolen. I have done these things. They don't make me who I am. That just means I've done it. I'm also human. So most of us can say the same stuff. But looking at yourself and actually saying, yeah, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I don't love that I did that, but I still love me. Just like with a friend or a partner or a family member, a loved one of any sort. If they screw up, you don't stop loving that person. You don't like what they did. And sometimes that can cause a little more trauma than needed. Some people end up in jail and that sucks. And some people, whatever. Like addiction. Addiction's awful. And you don't hate the person. You don't like how they're acting because of how the drugs are making them act. So it's the same with yourself. You're so forgiving of others and yet you can't look at yourself the same way. One mistake does not make a person. 100 mistakes does not make a person, because people can and do change. The difference is, you wanted it. Not everyone does. And that, my friend, is what makes you special. So, let's see what else we got. What else do we got? Dun, dun. Okay. Well, that was it. Was that 3, 4? Oh. The last one was fear. Fear of actually digging deep and opening up and getting vulnerable. And I understand. I do. I honestly do. It is not something that is easy to face yourself. It is not easy to always look in a mirror. It is not always easy to say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am beautiful, I am flawed, and I am loved all in the same time. That's not easy. So the fear, what is that? Where is that fear coming from? Again, we're going to come back to the 5 whys. Every time you have a big question, every time I ask you something that clicks, ask yourself why every time you answer 5 times. Why are you scared to move forward? Why are you scared to look at yourself? And whatever that answer is, ask yourself why. Why? 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 And you'll come up with the answer. But, on the other hand, fear might be good. You always hear about you have butterflies in your stomach. You feel uncomfortable when something new is coming, when something you've never done before. You get the butterflies and the jittery, and if you've ever jumped out of a plane, or if you have ever done something fantastic that you have never done before, shared a painting or shared something you've created, and the butterflies that you have before you do that, because you're putting yourself out there, and you're putting yourself out there in a big way, and there might be rejection. Well, all those feelings that you have inside, all that jittery butterfly crap, is just your body protecting you from something it doesn't know. It's made to do this. Your body is made to protect you. If you are going into a new place and you have anxiety, that is your body's protection mode. At some point you have said, I don't like these places, I don't like this many people, I don't like this situation, I'm uncomfortable. And it's been said enough times that it is now a tape going in your head, and your body is literally protecting you because of your thoughts. So that's not always a bad thing to be uncomfortable when you do something new. It is a natural reaction, and typically when you step through it, you know the difference. Sometimes if you're in a dangerous situation, absolutely follow that intuition. But if you get the same feeling down here instead of an intuitive hit up here, start looking at that. Start looking at that. Is this something that you say every single time? Is this something that no matter every time, it doesn't matter what changes, it doesn't matter if it's a different venue, different music, a different group of people, nothing, different state, country, province, whatever. If every time you walk into that same situation, that tape starts going in your head, pause the tape and think about why. Why has fear gotten so bad that this is no longer enjoyable? I did it. I got to a point where I didn't even want to go out. This was way before COVID. But I got to a point for years where I didn't want to go out anymore because I was like, it's not worth it. I don't like this, I don't like that, all these things. I made it negative, and then I didn't go out, and then I was depressed, and I couldn't figure out why I was depressed. Well, I made going out a bad thing. So every time I would get dressed to go out, totally talked myself out of it. I was protecting myself. It's amazing how this works. It fascinates me, the brain. Because if you did drugs young, then your brain rewired young. And it's just stayed on the same track this whole time. So if that's the case, there are some neuro exercises that we can do to see what's up. And we'll go over those for sure. But it really could be just the brain wires crossing, because something a long time ago switched the track over from this one. It switched it over, and now it's just a tape. It's just the train on the track goes round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. That is exactly what that is. Fear is there to protect you, but it's also there, that uncomfortable, giddy, weird feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but every time you do something beyond yourself, anytime you do something new, it's there, but you do it anyways, there's your payoff. So don't be afraid to look. Go look in the mirror, go get naked, go look in the mirror. Do some flexing if you need to, do whatever you want, but just go do it. And then think about how you felt. Were you able to look? Did you want to look close? Did you look at your genitals? Did you look at your butt? When was the last time you did that? Like, look at your body from all the angles, because guess what? Your partner will be too. And if you're not comfortable with them, well, it's not going to be as much fun for your partner, because that will come across. So, I shouldn't be smiling. That was very... All right. One thing, just know that fear is natural. But fear of stepping into yourself and realizing who you are today is just fine, and taking steps to be better if you need to, is scary. It's a lot. But a year is going to go by. 4 months is going to go by. 8 months is going to go by. The time is going to go by whether you do anything or not. And all I can suggest is starting now and getting a jump start, and then just enjoying the rest of your life with the tools that you'll have to do so. So, lovelies, if you have any more questions for me, you can drop them below. You can message me, whatever you need to do. I am starting everything Monday, and we're going to just do point 1 with your head on Mondays for the next few weeks. We'll get everybody. I got to finish getting a couple people enrolled, so I'm going to try to keep everybody in. Some people are at different phases. They wanted to start before the actual launch date, and I let them. So we will have people going through at different stages. So if you have a win or if you have a question, feel free to ask in the group, and somebody else may be able to help you besides me. We know it takes a village, and I am creating one that's going to help us into the future, and essentially we're going to have better sex and awesome relationships. So I think we're all good with that. If you still need to chat with me and enroll, I will leave the link in the comments below. I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And from my face to yours, I love you.